Hi, and thanks for logging on to the Daily DVAR Halacha. And here's a brand new Halacha for you, and it's for Thursday, December 17th. Here we go. A couple more laws in and around the topic of coffee. Here we go. You know that a lot of people, of course, add creamer to their coffee, and sometimes it's parve creamer. Looks like milk, but it's totally parve, and it does all the good effect to the coffee, like milk, but it's totally parve. Now, you may have heard that there's a concept called maris ayin. It appears to the eye sometimes like when you're serving, let's say, ice cream at the end of a fleishik meal. It's parve ice cream, but if not everybody knows that, the maris ayin, the look of the matter to the eye, looks as if you're causing a problem because it looks like you're serving milchiks at a fleishik meal. So in a Shulchan Aruch, it actually says in situations like that you should put something standing nearby, like the packaging that shows that it's parve, so that people will realize, don't think they're making a mistake here. This is parve a creamer, and the packaging that's right there shows it. So the question is whether that's necessary when creamer that's parve is being used at a meal that's, let's say, has fleishiks in it. Is it necessary to have the creamer parve packaging there? And it seems, according to most rabbis, that no, it's not necessary because it is so well known that creamer is parve and that there is often parve creamer available that people aren't going to naturally assume the wrong thing, and therefore there is no real problem of the maris ayin, and you can go ahead and consider it just fine to have the parve creamer even though it's a meat meal, and nobody should have any concerns over that. Also, if a person wants to ever go into a store, just mildly related, and he wants to run in there and buy a Coke, and a lot of the things in that store are not kosher, so it looks like he just ran into Sam's Diner that isn't kosher, and what's an Orthodox Jew doing in there? But if it's known that they sell products which can be bought by an Orthodox Jew, like there's drinks in there or whatever, then as long as kosher items are being served inside of that store, then it's okay for you to run inside. Another unrelated fact about coffee is this. There is a problem called bishul akum. We don't like to eat foods wherever possible. We try not to eat foods that were cooked by a non-Jew. And the rules of foods cooked by a non-Jew apply to any food that was inedible raw, and also is good enough to be served on the table of a king. Now, coffee seems to fit that category because it is inedible raw, and it is fit to be served on the table of a king. And in the processing of when they make coffee grounds or the coffee powder, it is cooked in its early stage, and it's cooked by non-Jews. So why isn't that a problem for you and I when we drink coffee? It was sort of earlier in its processing, it was cooked by a non-Jew. One simple answer is that the powder itself was unfit to be served to a king. So it's not really true to say that we're dealing with a food here that's fit to be served on the table of a king, because the powder, which is the issue, would not be served on the table of a king. Only the coffee would. I hope that doesn't sound like splitting hairs, but that's really how the facts work. That coffee is not going to fall into this category because the powder of a coffee, which is what the thing that was cooked in the early processing by non-Jews when they made it back in whatever country they were in, that was powder that couldn't be served on the table of a king. So it doesn't even fall into the prohibition of something that needs to be watched against being cooked by a non-Jew. And one more thing, there is a famous Tosfos that says that beer doesn't have the problem of bishul akum at all. You never have to worry about beer being quote-unquote cooked by a non-Jew because the main bracha on it is shahakol. So if that's true, and that's what the Tosfos says, then well, coffee also has the bracha of shahakol, and it too will then safely fall outside of the category of things that can't be cooked by a non-Jew. So do not fear that problem at all when enjoying your coffee. Just go ahead and enjoy it. It's all good. Thanks for logging on. Log on again tomorrow for more. Bye-bye.